שלום,
לא, לא,
אנחנו כאן בשרשרת פודקאסט צו 8 התעוררות עם ג'אודת קסאב. שלום לך ג'אודת.
שלום לך, אוהד.
אני אציג אותך בקצרה.
בשמחה.
ג'אודת הוא חבר חדש שלי, קודם כל. אה, והוא actually we said we'll speak in English in the interview, so I'll transition to English just for the convenience of the conversation. Sure we can
Thank
transition as you like.
thank you.
Um, so Jawdat is born and raised in Nazareth and is practicing, working as a lawyer, and also is a very avid community builder. And this is the context in which we met, the community of Falahi that has to do with Israelis and Palestinians coming together. Um, and I am very curious to hear about that in the context of awakening, התעוררות, in which we are meeting. So maybe first just briefly say, what is Falahi? What do you do there?
First of all, thank you for having me. Already I'm feeling relaxed being here. Uh, I'm feeling ecstatic as well. And I'm appreciating the opportunity. Fallahi is a project, and it's very difficult or challenging for me to sometimes put it in words. I think the whole intention from it was that it's beyond definition and to keep it in a way that people might perceive it the way they want. For example, you actually define it as Israeli-Palestinian. At the same time, this is the perception and exactly it's welcome. It's like an art form. For me, Falahi is a place where it's inclusive, and I think I wanted to be more broad and providing awakening to people. And the things that we actually use and the intention we put from the start is to try and use a language that is more holistic, that avoids the use of ethnicities and nationalities and all of such. It's a human experience, and in order to face the segregation that we actually face every day. And it's to bring people into a union. I think Falahi is a place of a safer container that people can come to in this binary, polarized world and see for themselves the complexity and things existing at once at the same time without the need or avoiding the need to cancel each other. I'd like to give it a brief description of Fallahi as the peasant, actually the farmer. So the connection and reconciliation with land. And it's a space that embraces the culture of the farmer here in this region, and it's open to everyone that is interested in connecting with it and reconnecting with it, actually. And its aim is to actually try and shed light on oppressive regimes and how they're rooted in our communities, in our different communities and different manifestations. Um, it's done through a lot of workshops, a lot of different tools, and it's led by participatory leadership. So you see 20 team members actually producing these events, producing these programs with a non-hierarchical structure, very horizontal. And it allows, other than the way that we are used to dominate each other and compete against each other, it allows us for all of us to contribute to what the moment actually needs, and it allows for emergence of a lot of creativity and reconciliation and healing, I think. I will stop here, open it for questions if it's okay with you.
Yeah, that's great. It was good to hear of this. Kind of helps me understand what we are going through. I wonder, how did you find yourself doing that? And maybe what is your motivation?
It's a long story, actually.
Sure.
I will say briefly about my history, his background and family. Um, I was born and raised in Nazareth. My mom is from Nazareth and my dad is from Al-Fahim. And the great grandfather of mine was from the village El Lajron, which translates into Megiddo. And they had to move in 48 to Al-Fahim. And since then, it affected my life. And I seen my father being a peace activist, actually, nonviolent resistance or justice seeker. And he established the first Holocaust museum in Arabic in Nazareth and in the West Bank. So this shaped my life into seeking justice through legal and peaceful and educational means, and thus I became a lawyer. However, at a certain point, I felt the limitation of just this, and I'm now trying to integrate it into more policy, more social change, more grassroots, and to intertwine everything together. And then I met a group of people um, uh, through a love of mine. And throughout that love, it made me realize a lot of things, actually. And I reached a point where I need to be courageous in order to break paradigms and societal roles. And it gave me a lot of insight of how this love can manifest into a wider spectrum. And then I met these people, and we started a shared community with very diverse, seeking also justice and peace and safety for all. And we started using art and workshops and communities. And we went through a lot of immersive experience, heart-opening experiences, and we thought that maybe this is a model that could be implemented to more people that are vibing on the same frequency or like-minded people. So we started with that, and it led to the formation eventually of the Fallahi project. And now the Fallahi project has an alumni network of 200 people so far.
Yeah, it's good to hear. And I want to say that my experience in this space is really like resonates with what you said, like this sense of heart opening space, which I feel is quite rare to have like these kind of spiritual dimension and really heartfelt dimension into work that is usually very heartbreaking or tiring or brings up a lot of different kinds of emotions. So I wonder how come, like why is that do you feel in the center of your work?
Um, I think it makes me feel better, and it also makes people feel better. Each time I find myself like thinking about the future, it gets really dark. And I try to remind myself of how serving people and myself and life and being an agent of that is the most important thing. And it's very nourishing. And it's like the feeling of it is deals with the separation aspect. And it makes me feel alive. And I see myself seeking it even more and more. There's this aspect of compassion that is there that opens life to different dimensions that I didn't think would be possible. And I think this is one of the motivations and drives for me to keep going. And
I,
yeah,
I wonder if you have any like particular examples of that or moments that you felt carried that significance.
there are plenty. I just can't
Good.
remember at this moment.
Take your time. maybe,
There, yeah.
yeah, if you have any, please share. But also, I feel like, yeah, we can also move to another question.
There was actually a moment that created this intention for Falah. It wasn't in Falah, it was before that. We were working on making a camp in Midburn, actually, 3 years ago, and it was the theme was to make a Palestinian camp there, and it was people, mixed group of people. There were 40 people from all over the country, speaking Arabic, speaking Hebrew, together with different nationalities, but the theme was speaking in English the whole time. We used to have circles. We produced the event together, and we made a lot of art exhibitions. For example, there was a checkpoint, a tower, checkpoint tower, and in the morning it would be an adhan, like a call to prayer for the Muslim. It was carried out by a woman in the morning, so every morning there. And it's the first Palestinian camp in Midburn, between 7,000 people. And at night it would be like a checkpoint, and people will have to come in through, like, to show ID, to show this stuff. So it's like giving like an immersive experience. There were shows, there were dances, you come in, you get like the whole Bedouin or Arab or Palestinian hosting, and you have to come in to see everything, and you get to be involved. One of the workshops that we did was to do the March of Return for Palestinians in diaspora in the playa. And the playa is the space where everybody meets, basically. So the Palestinians wore white with luggage in their hands, and they painted their colors in white, as in the 48. And they had no place to go home to, whilst the Israelis actually wore black. So we were going through the crowd, and then you see our group of 40 people shaping in an arrow like this. And you would see the color of this arrow, this piercing through the crowd, through cheers and boozes and criticism maybe, or some shock. And you would see the formation of this union, white in the middle, and on the edges it's black. And in the in the base of this pyramid, you see dots of black and white, black and white. That for me was the first experience of becoming a union and breaking the paradigms, calling for a call for which is a human one. And it's kind of, for me, is like living this is what keeps me going in life. It tells me if I have to choose one polarity, I will have to give up on one of these people, and I don't want to. And bringing this thing towards, I heard a lot of feedback from people that they are seeing this. They could feel it, they could experience it, and it affects their life and it influences their decisions. And it brings them to service of everyone. Um, this is one of it.
Yeah, it's really, really sweet to hear. And I feel like I was there like like watching it from the side. I wasn't part of it at the time. And I feel like that it was like you speak of it in this beautiful way. It was quite a radical thing also, like to come into Midburn and to bring all of this frequency of politics, which we usually, feel very different about. Um, and and we are also talking within the context of this war that is ongoing, and really horrible things are happening all around. And so I wonder, yeah, what are the challenges that you feel going forward with this community?
The challenges is that usually people, as well as me, get affected really by these triggering forces around us, by the pain. And we could easily fall back into our anxiety and protectiveness and go back into our shell and easily grasp into concepts and ideas and political narratives and views, which makes it very hard for us to connect. So it's very difficult to tell people this is a different space where everything is welcomed. Your feelings are welcomed. It's okay for you to feel whatever you're going through. It's only normal for you to be going through, considering that I don't even know what things you grew up with. And this is your reality. And part of it is trying to transfer to the people that, like, compassion is that I know that maybe the person in front of me will never understand me and my pain, but still I won't wish it upon them. And it's very magical to see how people start from this to there, but we're used to very dominating aspects on how to deal with each other. And when we tackle concepts and politics, it's very difficult. I would give an example. People who grew up under a Palestinian society, let's say, and influences and environmental aspects, they're very scared to be in kibbutzim. So how would you make an event in a kibbutz? Because it's one of the safest spaces and all the events are there. So one of the participatory leadership aspects that we go actually and think about what would make people feel safe. So, and it's an idea of the people who grew up under Israeli societal rule. And they said, maybe we'll put in the kibbutz, we'll put names of the old villages that were there before 48, for example. Was one of the challenges. And it worked. People came. You have an event of 150 people, very diverse. On a personal level, this is an audience level. On a personal level, I had experienced a moment where one of the, I'll call it for the inconvenience Israeli participants, say that I feel like Palestinians don't like me. And my reaction is that maybe it's true, but we will get through it together. Like, we don't know. And whatever it is, we will overcome it. So these are some of the challenges. Why I mention this, because some people would think that it's some kind of denial or something like that. But the reality, everything that is happening is very present. However, the way we deal with it is not from a reactive point, but from a responding, from our ability to respond to it. So we maneuver and test the waters of what is our capacity to hold these things. And if we don't, then we don't. It's okay. We leave it till another time, till we have more chances. I think you're on mute.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I feel in a way the delicate practice that is involved of kind of dealing with our identities, our stories, our pain, but also trying to do it on a more kind of personal, emotional level rather than, political or, led by agenda.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I do feel like there is an agenda toward this. And I wonder, yeah, how do you work with these, with the contrast?
Sometimes people need an agenda to see where we're going, because it's very scary to surrender to the unknown.
You don't feel there's an agenda?
I think my main objective at each moment is to meet people's needs, like throughout their feelings. Usually when there are feelings, there are needs that are unmet, it provides unpleasant feelings. And when there are needs that are met, it provides pleasant feelings. And as long as I focus on meeting needs of people, and I believe personally, I don't know if I'm right, but I believe that on needs, there cannot be a conflict. We can meet all of our needs without conflicting. We can find a strategy to do that. And as long as we're capable of doing that whenever we can, then our path will take a different turn and towards having a future which is more inclusive and safe for everyone. And maybe this would be the agenda, you know? I think I just want to mention like what is very nourishing. Like I would be stuck into my thoughts, and then the ability of this nonviolent communication and structure of organization with people that are collaborating on things is that we bring our ideas together, we bring our feelings, and we bring our experiences. And I'm always proven wrong with many things. And I feel supported by people. I feel complimented by people. I feel some partnership and union. And I think this already feels like a better future for me. But yeah.
Yeah, you're saying something about the future, and I wonder what do you feel these days? Like I feel in a way I am active in many places or situations where I can be more uh, hopeful or like present and kind of direct. Uh, but I feel like I'm paying a price with like putting everything that's happening aside or like somewhat aside. I feel like the potential of desperation is very, very, strong. So I wonder where you stand in this, if at all.
Yeah, we just came from a weekend that was actually very alternative and different and has a different reality, right? It was a container. And then
Yeah.
coming out of there, not back to, coming out of there and facing all these transitions, like the transition when facing all of this is very devastating and painful. I found myself stuck in my body was stressed and it was like a stone. And then I told myself, I need to find kindness. I need to find intimacy. I need to find connection. And I'm trying to find it by giving it. And I find myself in circles where people still believe that kindness is an option. And it's nourishing me, despite everything that is happening. And the fact that this exists means that there is hope for me, despite everything. And that's the most magical thing. This is the divine thing for me, that people are seeking that despite everything, despite the mainstream, despite what we're being told, despite our paranoia. And it's a matter of radiating this kind of energy, I think. I'm not gonna like act like it doesn't affect us, like it's pretty out there, and it brings a lot of existential questions as well. You can't have a normal relationship with someone because you cannot think of 2 days ahead, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like sharing. First of all, that this weekend we've been to the Jordan River, and it was like this really, other world that we shared for a while, and a lot of meaningful experiences there. One was like to hear of the story of a settler from Kiryat Arba, or like former settler of the life that he found himself in, and also like the sense of relationships that are already there, kind of like building and deepening, which to me is really precious. Um, I also feel like um, um, giving space for the fact that by coming to these situations and meeting people that I don't often meet, especially Palestinians, made me realize how much I don't know about the experience of many people that live around me, and I'm just kind of blinded to the depth of fear or anger that can be there. Um, and I'm sure you also met things that you didn't meet before. So I wonder both about that, and also if you would want to kind of share something with I don't know, a broader Israeli audience, as much as like there will be an audience to this. Um, like what do Israelis miss about the situation?
Welcome to Falahi. Second of all, I would talk about my experience in such spaces.
Mm,
On the 7th of October, one of my friends got צו8, and it was the first time I witnessed what is the feelings that someone who gets צו8 goes through. And this person is well connected to his feelings, so he's not hiding everything. And I love that person. We've been living like in the same area for around 2 months. And then he's going, he can't sleep. It's 2 a.m. I'm sitting next to him. I'm telling him, it's gonna be okay, man. Like, And then he looks at me, his eyes, and this is where I understood that terror that goes through his being right now. And that was eye-opening for me. And I was sorry for his pain, that he has to go through that. And so I was very happy to hug him when he came back, I would say, despite all the justifications, the drama of thought behind everything. This is where my heart meets his.
mm,
And I cannot judge anyone for what they do, like they have a plan and there's a reason why they are there, and there's a reason why they're there. But as his friend, I'm very happy to have him and to tell him who I am.
mm. Something eye-opening in really seeing someone else's experience.
And I know that I'm not the only one who's been experiencing things like this. We have, like, the last weekend was not as normal as we always do, but we have a lot of workshops of storytelling of people like from Gaza, people from the West Bank. And it's also eye-opening for them.
Mm,
I have a playback theater where many people come from the crowd and share their stories, and people reacted for them. So we're trying to reenact this moment every time.
Well, so that we are about to finish, so I already want to really thank you for your words. It was really interesting to listen to you
Thank
and
you.
to hear of this beautiful project.
Thank you for the invitation.
Maybe in the final few seconds, you can yeah, say what you wish uh, for the continuation of the project,
Whatever it may be. Let's see. Thank you.
whatever it may be.
Thank you.
Well,
And thank you for the opportunity. I'm really appreciative of it. Thank you.
my
See you
pleasure.
soon.
Yes.